As you can see from the dot matrix here, we have your standard just after installation. It's kind of hard to see in the camera, but how you've got the blotchiness on the top where some of it looks stuck and some of it doesn't. And what I'm going to use here is a technique that we call drop and dry. It's something that I came up with, I don't know, a long time ago, in order to do cars with the dot matrix, because we're doing a lot of work for Honda and for, let's see, Acura. And those two cars, especially the TL and this car here, which is a 2007 Honda Accord, are just very bad and very difficult dot matrix to deal with. So what I'm going to do here is drop and dry technique. So let's get started. This film was applied just like normal. I cleaned the window, did a reverse roll, installed it. I pushed out as much water as I possibly could out of the top. And what you want to do is take your heat gun, get it good and hot, and you want to go across the very bottom edge of the dot matrix. More on the glass side than the dot matrix side. What we're going to do is heat that up. The purpose of this is, once it's heated up, I'm going to go inside and I'm going to pull the film down off of the dot matrix. The reason that we heat this is so that we don't drop down. When I pull on it, it's already stuck to the glass a little bit in the glass area below the dot matrix, because we do not want to pull the film off the glass below the dot matrix. We just want to come right to that bottom line. Kind of the trick here is you want to heat it, but you do not want to overheat it. If you overheat it in the area of the dot matrix, when you pull it down, you'll have glue that sticks to the glass. The adhesive will be so stuck that when you pull it down, it'll actually come off like you're just ripping film off the glass. And that ruins the drop and dry look when we're with the finished product. I got that pretty good and warm, so I'm going to hop inside and pull that dot matrix down to the bottom dots. Alright, and when I'm doing that, I kind of use a method to pull that down where I'm tugging towards the front of the car on the film in order to get it to come down. I'm not pulling it like straight down. Let's see if we can get the video on the inside just to kind of show you what it looks like on the inside now. Sorry, it's a bit of a mess back here. Got some tools in here. This was actually a removal and a retint of some film that had gone bad. So there's the film pulled down. Now once the film's pulled down, this is where the drop and dry comes in, where the dry comes in. And now the job is to two things. One, get a substantial amount of heat on this bottom edge because if you look real close, you'll see that there is a little bit of water still in there. And what we want to do is get all that water dried out. We also want to heat up this dot matrix and get it really, really hot. And I mean, like, really hot. And I'll show you as we go. What I normally do is start across the bottom edge, kind of staying up in the dot matrix area. So obviously if we get it too hot below the dot matrix, it's going to blister the film off the glass. Usually in these corners, you got to get some good heat in these corners because you're not able to pull the film down off of the dot matrix when it rounds. You've got to get all that water out of there, which normally when you end up heating it up, you'll end up kind of seeing it bubble up. You're kind of boiling the water out. Sorry about my voice, I got some kind of cold or something, I don't know, it just started last night. And I can't talk right. Alright. I'll get the other side good and dry. So what's happening here is that this is getting that bottom really dried out. When you take a close look at it, you'll be able to tell where there's water and where there isn't water. Yep, that's good and hot. We want to boil all that water out of there. Any water left in this and you're going to have problems when you go to do the drop and dry. When you go to push it up, it'll streak that water up and then it looks horrible. Now we're just getting this whole thing really, really good and hot. And hot enough to where you probably can't touch it with your hand. Just doing up and down. Normally in the showroom we'll have a picture of a car without or before a drop and dry and then after drop and dry. Just to show the customer what kind of extra work we put into the back window to make sure that the film looks really good on the glass. Because you're going to find that most shops, they don't do this. They don't take this extra step. Some shops will put vinyl up there. I've done that in the past on some cars. I've tried the glue method. I could never get the Elmer's glue to work and not be all blurry. And I mean, that just seemed, it was so messy. I don't know. This has always worked really well. I mean, if you were to keep your hand on there, it's going to burn you it's really going to burn you, so just make sure you get it good and hot. I'm also kind of coming down towards the bottom of the dot matrix to kind of overlap that same area we heated first, just to make sure it stays good and hot down there. And then all the water gets dried out. It's important once you get inside the car that you take a look at the film that's hanging down and make sure that there's no water drops on that film. Any water in there is gonna, you're ruining the drop and dry with that. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty warm. I can hold my hand on there for a few seconds. Alright, once you've got the bottom dried out, you'll know because it's silver right up to those bottom dots on the matrix. Take a towel, microfiber towel, and I take a regular Bondo card. What I usually do is fold this thing, something like this, in four. I'm going to put the Bondo card close to one edge, like this. And then I'm just going to run up the film like this. Sometimes I'll start in the middle and come up about an inch, and then come over a little bit and go up about an inch, and then come over an inch. Then I'll start again. And that, with this dot matrix, I don't know, it's probably 3 inches. I'll probably do two rows. Or sometimes I'll just go all the way up. Kind of just depends on the dot matrix. This one I'm going to do just up about an inch, and then scoot over. And what you want to do is you want to use this side on wherever you're. It's going to be hard to explain. Or I'm just not good at explaining things. You know, if I'm squeegeeing up like this, then my next one is going to be like this, and leave this overhang in the part that you've already squeegeed or pushed up. And I've got most of it pushed down, and what I'm going to try and do is take you in the car with me here and show you the process of pushing it up. Should have somebody with me here helping me with this, but somebody to hold the camera. See if I can edit some of this stuff out. Okay. So I've already got this one half done. Now, as you can see from the inside, it does kind of leave it streaky looking from the inside looking out. Although it gives a great appearance on the outside, I consider that a win. What I've got here again is Bondo card with a towel over it. Got my hand on the Bondo card. I'm actually pushing so hard on the glass that the Bondo card is really pushing into my hand, and it hurts a little bit. So I'm putting a ton of pressure on it. I'm coming over, each time I'm coming over about an inch. Going over about an inch and pushing up. Over about an inch and push up. Till we get all the way to the end. And on these bottom corners here, on these rounded corners, what I did once I was coming over, I pushed this to the side like that. It's kind of hard to go up on the edge because sometimes you'll put a crease in it. Now the good news is with this type of application or installation with the drop and dry is that let's say you got some air stuck under it. This will only work on some cars. I mean, it'll work on most of them, but you get into like where the dots get real far apart on something like a Corvette. And you definitely don't want to, you want to try as little as possible to pull it back down. But let's say I creased it or something. Pull that back down. push it back up. You'll never know that I pulled that back down by looking at it. Alright, so you can see it is, you know, the inside doesn't look amazing, I'm going to be honest. That from the inside looking out, doesn't look as good as maybe a vinyl would look. From the outside, it's pretty much the same exact silver all the way across the glass. Now on some cars this comes out a lot better, like I would say Ford Mustangs, Acura TLs. The Honda Accord, it's always just been a real tough top matrix, but for almost all of our customers, it's very rare that a customer comes back and complains about this technique after I've done it, and that I have to go ahead and cut it out and put in the blackout with the vinyl. Like I say, it never happens, but I'd say about 95% of the time this is beyond adequate. Alright, and there's a drop and dry. Hope that's helpful to some people.